Yo, Richard. Hold on. Yeah, we're not exactly Hollywood production over here. Richard E. Mars Shinemeyer. I want to let you know that forgiveness is very powerful. It's the most powerful tool that you can have inside your toolbox. Forgiveness. And I mean real forgiveness. I don't mean the forgive and then you don't forget type forgiveness, because that's not forgiveness. That's you fooling yourself. And only yourself, because the person that you say you forgave, know that you ain't forgive them, because 9 times out of 10, you went right back to treating them the same way you did, or 9 times out of 10, it's just something about the way you are with them is going to tell them whether or not you really forgave them. You know what I'm saying? If I forgive somebody for whatever issue it is, maybe for lying, for stealing, for doing some kind of harm to me, I'm not going to bring that same thing up 2 years later, like, you know what, this is why you did this or whatever, or just whatever. I would never do that, because one, I don't have anger, I don't have hatred. Well, that's one. And two, I don't have hatred. Three, I don't have resentment. And you have to have these things to be able to hold on to past things. I'm having hard times now even remembering what has happened in the past, quite honestly. I can't rely on my memory for nothing for nothing. And I'm tired of trying to, honestly. Um I'm learning to be in the present, enjoying being in the present. For now, I'm stimulating myself being in the present by, doing I won't lie, I tend to masturbate sometimes, and that helps pass the time. And quite honestly, it's getting me back into the swing of, you know the type of girls that I like. Like, before I even go and talk to one, I want to get myself back in line with the type of girls that I like, because I forgot for a while the type of girls that I was into. And yeah, I know you can down me for using porn to get back on, on that train, but hey, from where I'm coming from, from where I came from, I'm I'd rather be doing this to get myself back, in the swing of things, you know. So, um, and what I mean by that is, you know, you wanna. I don't have a job right now. In fact, I just now got my ID, my identification card back, and I still have to get my green card in November. And at that point, I have 2 forms of ID. I need to also get myself a social security card again, because my wallet was lost. I lost my wallet, so I don't have my identifications. So no job, but I'll have one soon. And you don't want to try to get into relations with a woman if you don't have a job. You know what I'm saying? She, speaking of forgiveness, she ain't gonna forgive you for that, and you're not gonna forgive yourself if you can't go and pay your way. You don't pay her way. I'm not saying to have a job that doesn't mean I'm gonna go like spoil some women. No, that ain't what I'm doing. I'm just saying there ain't no point of trying to talk to a girl if I can't even go to lunch. Ask her out to lunch and then pay my way. She gonna of course pay her way, because I don't believe in paying for women. I don't believe in paying for women's ways. If she can't afford it, she need to go get a job. You know what I'm saying? Or ask her pops. You know what I'm saying? Um, don't frown on me for that, because that needs to be instilled nowadays. We as guys, hold on. We as guys are not supposed to be paying hand over foot, arm and a leg for girls that we're not even married to. If I'm being real with you, because for one, that girl ain't gonna respect you. You gonna you gonna feel like she respects you, and even to her, she might even think that she respects you, but down the road, it ain't gonna work out. It ain't gonna work out, because, well, I ain't gonna say because, but this is just how I would do it. just you get the date and the girl. Y'all go out or whatever. You pay your way, she pay her way. That way, y'all really getting to know each other. Y'all not already relying on each other. You feel what I'm saying? You don't want to be already relying on one another and y'all just dating. That's that's insane. You don't even know this person for that well, and you already letting them know that they can rely on you like that. What if you get hit by a bus tomorrow? And your medical bills could have been paid, but you were $25 short because you had to go. You decided to go to the movies and pay her way too. You feel what I'm saying? Now that's an extreme example, but yeah, um, yeah, don't. But yeah, that's why I'm not really focused on a girl right now. But I'm getting myself back in the swing of things, and forgiveness is important in that regard too when it comes to women to girls, because there's gonna be some girls you meet that, because of the way that they were raised, they were brought up, they're gonna have emotional issues. They're gonna be emotional and angry and have no idea why. That's why you have to be able to forgive. Yeah, you have to forgive them for, like, whenever they try to come at you and try to rile you up. You gotta forgive them for that, because you know that they can't help themselves. There's no telling what they've been through, right? So, as a man, you gotta be the example. You gotta be the strong leader. You gotta be the one that's God shining through you, and be like, yo, why you doing all this complaining? Why you doing all this moaning, and why you showing all this emotion? Am I giving you the same thing back? Oh, then I don't expect it. That's how I am now. Now, I'd be a liar if I said I was not emotional before. But that's before I realized that my problems were that I had never forgiven my mother for instilling her will upon me. As a young child, I was traumatized by her, and I come later to find out that she was brought up the same way back home. She's Nigerian. Her parents traumatized her when she was young, and it's apparent that she never forgave her parents for traumatizing her, because if she had, she wouldn't have still held on to that anger and that hatred, and passed it on to us. Well, to me, I don't know if my siblings will ever admit that they have anger and hatred passed on from my parents, but I know for sure I got hatred and anger passed down to me from my parents. So, my adopted parents, anyway. Um, my real parents, I'm sure some their sins got passed down to me too, because I was abandoned by the hospital, and they probably weren't married, because if they were married, I'm sure they would have had a way to take care of me. It was probably some kind of you know hook up and ditch type thing that happened there. So I'm sure I had their sins upon me as well, along with having to deal. So I had their sins upon me as a baby, and then I was already traumatized as a baby because I was left by myself after I was born. I was abandoned outside the hospital, so I was already traumatized. These are things that we don't think about. We don't think about how early that a child can be traumatized. We don't think about these things, but the child that was traumatized thinks about these things. So I was already traumatized as a baby, and then my adopted parents, the nanny that took care of me, I was traumatized with her too, because apparently I was just running amok, fool, and everything I put my hands on, I tried to take it. And so they didn't know how to deal with me. They didn't know how to handle me. Other than, I don't know if she used to beat me, I can't remember, but I know for a fact she would always call me Ino, and in Nigerian that means, um, well, in our dialect in Nigerian that means thief. So, and I was traumatized before I even got here to America. And then when I got to America, it was no better. First thing I did when I got here, I stole, because that's what I was doing back home. And these things happening to to people. By people, I mean the family that I was adopted in. These things happening to these people that probably never really experienced things like this was probably traumatizing for them, and they didn't know how to deal with it. And you know, it's been a hard road. It's been a hard road, but all in all, it's got me to this point where I know that forgiveness is very key. I've had to forgive myself. I've had to forgive my real parents. I've had to forgive my nanny Esther. I've had to forgive. I hear she has a husband. I don't know if I have to forgive him too, but I don't remember him. But I forgive him too. Um, and I forgive my adopted mom and mother and father. Actually, went and told my adopted mother and father that I forgive them. It's my real parents that I never was able to tell them to their face because tell them where they are, right? And my nanny Esther, she passed away, so I wasn't able to forgive her. But I forgive her in spirit because the way you forgive people that are long gone, that have passed away, is by getting to know yourself and knowing just the same way that you weren't able to help yourself, or you're not able to help yourself in doing the wrongs that you do, neither were they. And that will help you begin to forgive until you ultimately do. So, you know, forgive my adopted parents, and that's allowed me to see things in a different way. And trying to, just telling my pops like, yo, sometimes he'll still get mad at me and, call me, and still hold on to the things that I did as a child. And, I would have to tell him that, yo, the reason you still holding on to those things that I did as a child is because you never truly forgave me for them, for doing those things. And, just being able to see that's kind of eye opening. Now, I'm not saying it's because I know these things, that knowing about forgiveness, I'm not gonna go out there and just try to champion that everyone just forgives, because I'm not in control of your life. Only you are, through God, and you're gonna live your life the way you want to live your life. But I know I don't want to live my life with anger, hatred, resentment, fear, worry, stress. I don't want to live my life with any of that. That's why I had to forgive. Forgiveness is key. You got to be strong to forgive. It gives you strength afterwards. It reinforces you. The forgiveness in God. God forgives you when you forgive. So try it or don't. Suffer and die. Check out Mr. Jesse Lee Peterson on YouTube. It'll help you figure what I'm trying to say out too. That's where I get it from anyway. So this is the truth. Peace.